Rich Herrera on News Radio WRVA.
WRVA news time is 7:34. You're listening to Richmond's Morning News with me, Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for joining us. So, a lot's being talked about here in the Commonwealth. We are the internet capital of the world, yet we're fighting with our data center industry. People want to tax it. People don't want them. We're rejecting opportunities to build more data centers. And yeah, it's a neighborhood issue, but it's also a national security issue. Right now, we are in a space race, really, with China on who is going to have the dominance when it comes to AI. This is the next industrial revolution. Whoever comes out on top is going to have an advantage over the rest of the world for the next century. But the way we look at AI in these data centers is completely different than the way they look in China. Recent studies said that in China, 83% of the people view AI products and services as more beneficial than harmful. In the United States, only 39% of us share that view. Stark contrast. I embrace AI. It increases my bandwidth, helps me with research. But again, I tell everybody, it's like a 5-year-old child. You have to put guardrails on it in order to get it to do what you need it to. I mean, basically, Google is pretty much, well, you know what? Let me ask an expert. Let me bring someone in here who wrote an interesting piece, an op-ed, and I'm going to bring in Autumn Dorsey from Heritage Foundation to talk about that. She's our guest here on News Radio WRVA. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
What's the difference between when I use ChatGPT to do research and I put guardrails on it, these are my trusted sources, or Google?
Right now, there's not really that much of a difference. I mean, obviously AI is a lot better. It's kind of become like an elite Google search in the fact that, like, it can kind of synthesize information. It can pull sources. The one thing you do have to be careful of is these AIs hallucinating sources. But other than that, it can write a pretty good research memo.
Hallucinating sources, there's always drift. And again, I tell people, and they're kind of amazed, ChatGPT, the GPT stands for generative predictive text. I think that's what it means. It means it's going to tell me what I want to hear, so I keep engaging with it. That's one of the things where you have to put the guardrails around it. But as I look at all of this, in the battle right now we have with data centers and AI, Americans seem to be afraid of AI, intimidated by AI. Maybe we saw Terminator 1 too many times. We think Skynet's coming. Maybe we saw Battlestar Galactica and we thought the Cylons were going to take over. What's the difference between what China sees when it comes to AI and what America sees when it comes to AI?
Yeah. With China, they can mandate adoption. They have a central planning sort of system, while in the U.S., we really value democracy. And so we don't have sort of this like top-down mandate to have AI integrated in everything. And I think the difference is also that I think we're just taking some time to actually see the benefits, I think, diffuse within the American public. Obviously there's the benefit of productivity, but a lot of the benefits are like in science and scientific breakthroughs. And if you're like a normal American, you're not going to, interact with that on every day of your life. I think that's where we're kind of seeing the differences. Also, like China has a lot better AI applications than we do. And so they've kind of focused more on how do we use AI in different ways, while we've focused a lot on what are our frontier model capabilities.
So here's the rub, though. I'm in my late 50s, and I'm a kind of a technology nerd. I'm not an innovator, but I'm a very early adapter. So I've embraced AI. But when I talk to people younger than me, I talk to younger millennials, or I talk to like my nephew and niece. They're 8, 9, 10 years old. They hate AI. They don't want anything to do with AI. We watch these college graduations, and if a speaker speaks up and says anything about AI, the kids start booing. I've talked to kids that have told me, "Oh, AI took my job. I'm not going to have a job because of AI." There is actually a Luddite type of pushback, and Luddites are the people that, during the last industrial revolution were trying to thwart the industrial revolution coming on by sabotaging new technology. It seems like they have that mindset right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is a concern. I think part of what we're going to kind of see is that there is going to be a transition phase of, what jobs can be automated by AI. But I also am very optimistic that there will be new jobs that are created from this revolutionary technology. I mean, if we look at like the age of the internet, no one had the job of social media manager before the internet. And so I am very optimistic that we're going to see new jobs. But I mean, it makes sense right now when, especially if you're a college grad trying to get an entry level job right now. I mean, the job market is already hard enough, let alone having, AI be able to take some of those tasks that would normally go to lower entry or
to people just coming out. Dorsey joining us right now from the Heritage Foundation as we talk about America's reluctance to embrace AI. But here's the one thing, Autumn. I think we're afraid of the word algorithm. We haven't even got to the word model, which really is what we do. But you get to the word algorithm and nobody knows what it is. It's this big spooky box somewhere that decides what we see, what we don't see. We see how the algorithms have affected our social media feeds. I'll tell you this, not long ago, I was job hunting and the algorithms would not get my resume to the right people. And there are jobs where people are like, hey, Rich, you should apply for this job. Applied for the job. I said, hey, did you get my resume? No. Turned out that the algorithm of the AI never pushed me through to the hiring manager. And they're like, sorry, if you can't get through the AI algorithm, we can't consider you. People are afraid of that because nobody knows exactly who's controlling what. Is this a secret little box somewhere that's affecting our lives?
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, algorithms are really just, a set of calculations or math. But it is, can be a concern when, you are job hunting and like your resume can't even get past, the first sort of pass. I mean, and maybe that goes into like what sort of guardrails we should have or what sort of guardrails we shouldn't have. Yeah.
Well, that's where I wanted to go because that's a big part of what your article was that I thought was very fascinating. I wanted to bring you on. Guardrails. We didn't put any guardrails on social media. And now you look at X. I use it, although I don't want to because after a while it just becomes depressing. You look at Instagram and the harm that it's had on Americans. You look at Facebook and how it's really kind of made people turn on each other. We didn't put the guardrails on social media and we see our worst instincts come out. People would like to put the guardrails on AI, but if we do that, do we fall behind the Chinese? Do we limit the Industrial Revolution by putting governors on there that other people aren't? I mean, where do you see this, the need for guardrails to keep us from our own worst interests, yet allowing AI and winning this space race with China?
Yeah, I think guardrails are actually like really necessary to win. I think their studies show that if people don't trust the technology, that they're much less likely to use it. And I think we're seeing that very saliently. I think we do actually need some sort of guardrails, whether that be like having safety thresholds, whether that be some sort of child protection for these things. Like we do need some sort of guardrails so that the American people feel like that their concerns are being addressed. And then in that are able to like actually use it. I mean, there's no point to having, the best frontier models if no one's going to use them.
Where are you? I mean, how much do you trust AI as someone who studied this?
I would say, I think I trust it in the sense of, it has helped my workflows. It has made me, so much more productive and has given me so much bandwidth. And so I do think it's like a really good tool. But I also am like very aware that, like my job can largely consist of like writing and research. And so I do have to stay like very adaptable and like to make sure that like I am still adding value in a way that like AI cannot.
Autumn Dorsey joining us right now for the Heritage Foundation. Autumn, you're going to laugh at me. Here's mine. Trust but verify. I feel like Ronald Reagan when it comes to AI. I trust it, but I verify it. And probably every 4 or 5 minutes, I type in the prompt, don't drift, and reminding it, don't just tell me what you think I want to hear. Actually give me the answers that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing. I think this is what really scares people the most is that I hope that Americans will have benevolent feelings and ambitions when it comes to AI, but I don't trust other people from other places. I don't trust the Chinese. There's going to be some hacker somewhere that doesn't have mankind's best interest. And that's what scares me with AI. It's become so powerful. It has this opportunity. It's kind of scary out there. And that little algorithm, that little box that I don't know where it is, I don't know who's programming it. I don't know what they're putting into it. And are they going to put things in that align with me and my values and American culture? Or are they going to put things in there that could bring us to our knees?
Yeah. I mean, I think the frontier labs really do care about safety and are really thinking about, we don't want, someone to be able to build a biological weapon from these models. And so they do actually take pretty good steps to make sure that these models can be released in a way that, like, if a foreign national decided that they were going to try to do something that was not aligned with, the U.S.'s priorities, trying to commit some act of terrorism, that would be very difficult to do. There are a couple other things that, Congress can institute to really make that safer. But I do think the labs actually take a lot of steps to make sure that these models can be released in a way that doesn't, incentivize foreign nationals to do crazy things.
30 seconds. Do I have those same kind of guardrails from people that are developing this in Europe or Asia or other parts of the world that aren't going to have that same American value?
Yes, I think it depends on what models, right? I mean, U.S. models clearly have the guardrails. I think European models most likely do. It's kind of yet to be seen what Chinese models are going to do.
Wow, it's a strange new world from when I went watching Star Trek as a kid and thought it was cool that they could talk to their computer. I can actually do that now. I've got a flip phone that is obsolete that used to look like the communication device in science fiction. All the science fiction is coming true before our very eyes. What they didn't show in sci-fi is the battle internally of adopting this new technology. And I think you've kind of opened some eyes today on that. The piece she wrote was, you don't beat China by letting big tech run wild. It's in realclearworld.com. I appreciate you coming on the program with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. We'll continue with you. It's 7:46 here on News Radio WRVA.